Warning! This podcast contains the death of the entire Gemini Coven.
And spoilers.
That was a spoiler.
I know. But there's other spoilers.
Oh, yeah. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the SC9TV podcast for the Vampire Diaries, Season 6, Episode 22. I'm thinking of you all the while. I'm your host, Dom. With me, my co-host, Nikki.
Hi.
And my co-host, Mike.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going.
So what did you guys think of this finale?
Well, just from words being said, I'm less excited than both of you.
Really?
I had moments.
But it was still a good finale.
It was. I mean, all the feels this episode, right? I felt myself welling up with tears. Cause
you?
Not only did I have to witness the leaving of a very important character, I had to watch him die twice.
Oh, Kai.
Yes, Kai.
Come on, I knew he was going there.
Of course I did too. I just had to play along, you know.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
No, I agree. That was devastating.
It was. Got me right in the feels.
To quote what I told Nikki while I was watching this episode, I had to pause it halfway through. I go out and I said, they just stuffed a whole season worth of shit into 20 minutes.
They did.
They really did.
It's like, here's a twist, here's another twist, and we're going to throw this twist at you, and guess what? This thing happened, and then this thing happened, and this negates the other thing that just happened, and...
Yep.
I'm done.
I mean, this season, right, we were introduced to the Gemini Coven.
Yeah.
Right? Even though they were technically set up last season.
Yeah.
We just kind of glazed over that because last season was atrocious. But Luke and Liv did show up last season, and they kind of set it, and then they set in place the reason why that they were there. They were sent by the Gemini Coven to actually, help Bonnie and all them take care of Silas, to deal with the Travelers, because the Travelers had, done some shit with their coven, and it was just like, I was really starting to like the Gemini Coven. Mm-hmm. And more so, I liked Kai.
Yeah.
And I'm just really, really upset that they had to kill off Chris Wood, aka Kai. And I'm so jealous of people that happen to be going to Vampire Diary conventions right now, because there's been... I'm in a Vampire Diaries convention group on Facebook, and there are floods of people posting pictures with Chris Wood, and I'm just like, I would love to be there right now. Like, Kai is my all-time favorite character on this show. No one will ever beat Kai. Guaranteed. Like, I used to think Damon was the be-all, end-all, and then Kai came along, and it showed me exactly what true evil is supposed to be. So, how to do it with flair.
They did it with flair.
So it's not really evil, he was just psychopathic.
Mm-hmm. So, not only did we have to deal with the death of Kai, we had watched Alaric deal with, the death of Joe. And this is especially tragic for Alaric, because he's been searching for happiness. Right? He lost his wife, not once, but twice. Then he had... he had, what's the doctor, Meredith Fell? Right? He had her. I don't know what ended up happening to her. Did she
went to
leave?
Alaska.
Yeah, she left, so she's gone. And then Alaric gets turned into original, dies, wants to be human, gets to be human, meets Joe, and now Joe's dead. And not only is Joe dead, but their two unborn twins are dead. So, poor Alaric. I mean, he cannot catch a break.
Now I see why he unloaded how many bullets into Kai and then tried to put one in himself.
I mean, that was going to be his plan in the first place. That's why he took the gun. The gun just happened to be in his hands when Kai came around. He was going to use probably all those bullets on himself.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, he unloaded the entire clip into Kai with none were left for him. to use
And then-
for himself.
Surprise, Tyler comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, right? I was a little...
Not just Tyler, but turned Tyler.
Yes.
yeah, so
Tyler.
we dealt with Tyler. I was like, all right, so... what's his name? Michael Trevino.
Yes.
He was like, this is also my last season, and it was kind of glazed over because it definitely was not as big of a deal as Elena leaving. So I was like, they're probably gonna kill Tyler off.
That's what I was thinking. But not the case.
I mean, he did say he's willing to come back for guest spots here and there. He just wasn't gonna be like a series character, even like a reoccurring character anymore. So he could very well fill like another role like Jeremy did, especially because Jeremy came back this episode, which was a nice surprise. I was not really expecting it, so I should have, but I didn't. But just having him turn into a werewolf again was even more surprising, I think, to me than anything that happened this episode, really.
You know what? Yeah, that it makes sense because in the preview, the promo synopsis, whatever bullshit for last episode, it was like, Liv presents Tyler with some option or whatever. I'm like, oh, what, are they gonna run away together and like
it's gonna
have
change
both
his
babies?
life. Yeah.
Well, that was quite literal.
Yeah, quite literal.
Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, so all the Geminis are dying. So what about, and that's what came to my head. I'm like, so what about this big life-changing thing Liv is going to do for Tyler? How is she going to do that if she's dead?
Yeah. I mean, Tyler was on the verge of death, too. And
Yes.
Liv was like, look, I'm going to die anyway. There's nothing you can do about it. If you take my life, you will heal. You'll be a wolf again, but you'll heal. And, so obviously he took that option because he didn't want to die. As much as he doesn't want to be a wolf again, being a wolf is better than being dead. So, I mean, he went with that option, and then, we saw later he was told to leave and go live a life, whatever, and, he's gone. What if the reason he's leaving is because he's going to go to the originals and be a permanent character over there? That would be interesting.
That's a possibility. Wasn't there like rumors that there was going to be another spinoff from the Vampire Diaries?
I can't keep track anymore at this point.
Another?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't
I
know.
mean, there are places he can go, obviously, and if he wants to stay, the originals is a good spot for him.
I would like to see him over there. He was kind of shoehorned in last time, but I think he does fit over there. They just probably need to touch up his story. I mean, like, Haley seemed like the odd wolf out when that season first started. I actually just went back and watched the first episode of the originals just recently. And Haley was just, like, very awkwardly there for her reveal of, the pregnancy. And, that seemed, like, more awkward than Tyler's entrance over there. But I guess the big thing we learned in this episode, I guess I can't really say we learned it, but, we saw Tyler bite Kai, and we're like, oh, that's it. Kai's going to be hallucinating. This is going to go bad.
And I'm just thinking, wow, he just became one of these vampire witches and he's dead already?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so amazing when he does. As you could see his process going with his thought process, I was thinking the exact same fucking thing. So when he started sucking it, I was like, "You're the man. You're the fucking man."
Yeah, I was like, he's like, I never believed in werewolves before. In fact, I didn't even know they existed. So, a person that changes from human to werewolf, that's got to be through some kind of magic. And then you see him, and he's just like sucking the
venom magic
venom
out of him. Yeah.
To the point where I have to question, would he have figured that out if it wasn't for Bonnie's big mouth?
No.
Probably
He would have
not.
just let it kill himself. Kill him.
Yeah. But see, now, this goes back to the werewolf thing. Is it magic that created werewolves? We don't know the origin of the werewolves still.
Don't still.
Like, they predate vampires. That's
They do.
all
Oh, yeah.
we know. But so do witches. So we don't know if werewolves predate witches. All we know is they are magical. And we learned this last season when Tyler was stripped of his werewolf
Everything.
and hybrid abilities and became just a regular guy again with the werewolf gene. So what this is telling me is that the act of becoming a werewolf is magic, but the gene is not.
Yeah, that's...
This is where all sorts of, like...
questions need to be answered.
Yeah, that's a good one. I got nothing.
Yeah. Not sure. And with their really only werewolf character leaving the show now, I don't know if we're ever going to get it explained in the Vampire Diaries. I do think this is something that will probably be touched on in the originals, though.
Yeah.
Because the originals have basically gone through everything as the original. I mean, we've already seen, the original witch. That was Ketsia, but that was in Vampire Diaries. So, going through all this, there's nothing else that's in our mythology, our lore right now to give us new original backgrounds on, except for the werewolves. So I think at some point they're going to have to explore that. If not this season, maybe next. So.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I started questioning. I was like, all right, so Kai, how the hell did you get out of the prison world? This is something we were going back with last episode. And then we found out this episode, he goes, using the Bennett blood from this island in Canada, that you may have forgotten. And I'm like, okay, so he's talking about Silas, but where's their Bennett blood? And then I had to go back and do some research because I was really confused. And I found out that Ketsia is in fact in the same bloodline as Bonnie.
Well.
So, technically, Ketsia's blood that contains the cure is also Bennett blood. So, that explains how Kai got out, because you can only unlock the prison world with Bennett blood. But that leaves me to question, how were the Bennett witches linked to the Gemini Coven? That I do not know, because it all makes sense that they had to have worked close together, right? Because that's the entire reason that Damon and Bonnie got sent to the prison world in the first place, is through Grams. Grams cast the spell or whatever to allow... she said she's looking over Bonnie, with all that, and she sent Bonnie and Damon, well, basically just Bonnie, she was holding on to Damon at the time, to the prison world to begin with. And you needed the Bennett blood to unlock it. So it was linked to the Bennett line, and Grams knew this would keep Bonnie safe. So that's why she sent her there. I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to get an answer as to how they were connected now. Because we see this has gone all the way back to 1903, 1902, 1901, whatever the prison world was for there. So apparently they've been working in tandem for quite some time.
A number of years, you could say.
A number.
90-something years, give or take. At least, minimum. I'm thinking... because Bennett blood is related to Ketsia, that they're probably the most powerful line of witches, would be my guess. So that may have to do with why Bennett blood is required for the spell.
I guess. I mean...
because we do know that when Damon went back to go get Bonnie, that he sought out one of Bonnie's cousins, he said. That's how he got to go back when him and Elena went with Kai, that time. So they used Bennett blood again. So Bennett blood's kind of been the key, but now the prison worlds are gone. So I don't think we're ever going to get the answer to that, because they died off with the Gemini Coven.
Yeah. Who are now all dead.
They're
Kai
all
included.
dead because of Kai. I love Kai.
Let me just say that...
oh, you missed me last episode? I'm like, yes, I missed you. And then now he's gone again.
Can we just talk about Damon in that whole scene? How I actually believed that he walked away.
Oh yeah, because they had set up when Matt and Bonnie were watching the film that Kai left, and Kai's like, "Oh, you read my sticky note. Good for you."
Yay!
You know, I just fucking love Kai. I love him so much. Every little comment, like that whole "I was gonna wait till death do us part." You know, like. The fact that he mentioned it without him actually doing it just made it more hysterical to me than that. But yeah, I mean, the whole setup there with that, I was like, I don't, I don't know. I thought Damon was gonna walk off and leave Bonnie for dead.
Especially the way he said, "I'm sorry, Bonnie," and he kissed her on the forehead and just left. And I was like, "Whoa!" Like,
For a split second, I thought he did like a kind of a mind message thing that we have seen recently happen
Right.
in another show. So
Yeah,
I was
originals.
thinking he did that to her just to like reassure her, like, just, just pretend you're dying.
it was pretty
pretend.
good.
But
I bought it. Bonnie bought it, and I'm just
I mean,
sitting there thinking to myself,
that lone tear that just came down her eyes, like right after Damon stopped kissing her forehead. I was like, oh shit.
like, okay, great. So Elena's gonna wake up, and you're gonna, have Elena back, and Bonnie died of a collapsed lung. So yeah, okay, you're in the clear. But what's gonna stop Kai from telling her?
That's not what was going through my head. I go, what's gonna stop Kai from killing her? Because
That too.
we know she's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, are they really? And then it started to make sense to me. Like before Damon even got into the screen, like we had been seeing these like weird glimpses of different things, and I'm like, okay, so Elena. It seems like a dream sequence. So to me, instantly, I thought of one of the vampires are projecting people into Elena's subconscious. So Bonnie's gonna make it, and then all of a sudden I see Damon just pop up, and I'm just like, aha.
But I love that right in the middle of his little, maniacal speech there, just like, I wanted it to torture him. I wasn't expecting him to just walk out. I wanted to mull it over for a little bit. And then just, Damon fucking judo chops his head off.
I mean, Kai, if you had to go, that's one hell of a way to go.
yeah.
I really wish Damon would have said something along the lines of judo chop after it happened. Or it's just something completely, utterly cheesy and ridiculous. But Damon tasteful.
Heads up.
Heads up. Exactly. Right there. Come on. He is that type of character.
He is.
It seems more like a Kai move at this point, though.
But it's like he had the moment. And he wasted it.
I was waiting for Kai's
He did not
severed
miss.
head
Did you see
to.
Kai's head roll? He did not miss.
I was
I
waiting
say
for
he missed.
Kai's severed head to say something.
He had the moment to make a witty one-liner, and he wasted it, is what I was saying.
Yeah.
The cat's looking at me pissed off now for some reason. I don't know what I said.
Yeah. So, we find out that when Kai came into the wedding in the first place, that he linked Bonnie and Elena. So, Elena's basically in a coma until Bonnie dies. So, really the only thing that comes out of this is knowing back in season 2, when they made the ending for the show, it involves Stefan, Damon, and Elena. So knowing this, we now know Bonnie is going to die sometime between now and the finale.
Right, because there's no way... Yeah, no fiddling with the spell, because then both of you die instantly.
Right. So, in the series finale of the Vampire Diaries,
Bonnie's going to be dead already.
Guarantee you that Bonnie dies.
I'll take it.
Or she's gonna be like, fuck it, Elena's coming down with me. I'm fiddling with this fucking spell.
I mean, she could
that.
be misled. She could be misled and think that she found a way to like break the link that is like free of this and end up killing them both. That is a complete possibility because they also said with the other side being gone that they had to workshop the ending slightly. So that is also leads me to believe one of the characters will be dead. And we know that Elena being a doppelganger, regardless if she's a vampire or not anymore, still would go to the other side.
Right.
And Damon or Stefan, if one of them was to die, they would go to the other side as well. So it really could be anybody's game at this point for deaths. I know it's very early right now because they've already said that they want this show to go as long as Supernatural, and Supernatural is going into its 11th season now. Yeah. So this show potentially has 5 more years.
Yeah, wasn't it the quote, like, we've gone 11 or 10 plus seasons with 2 brothers and their adventures.
Yeah.
We can do it again on another series, something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, this show definitely, I could see it going that long, and to be honest, with what they've done this season, I would not be upset if it did.
No, especially,
if you asked me last season, I was like, you could just end the show now and I'll be happy.
Yeah. I was 100% with you halfway through last season.
Yeah.
But as I told Nikki earlier, this episode makes up for all of last season for me. Like, this episode is like, I'm sorry, I forgive you. That whole season, you lost your way. I'm so sorry. I apologize. You have me back. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it happens. And up to that point, I think season 3, which was when Stefan went Ripper, I think was like the weakest season leading into that. I'd lost a lot of interest in that season. Because the whole, like, Stefan and Klaus being best buddies, it just, like, it didn't really work for me. There was just something off with it.
That was a fake relationship. Klaus made it that way.
Yeah, it just seemed so off to me. It's like, then being forced, it felt forced, and it was just not enjoyable. But, like, looking back on that now, I would take 4 more seasons of that versus another season of The Travelers.
And then, Alaric and Elena are linked, so Elena's got to die.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know, there was a lot with that, and I'm just really happy in general of where this whole finale went to. And we even got some kind of closure with Stefan and Caroline, the way, they're handling things, and, Stefan, I think, finally opened up to Caroline and was actually very genuine.
He was.
And I think she actually realized that. So
she better have.
So as much as there's some shippers out there, like my aunt, who absolutely does not want the 2 of them to get together, and is threatening to stop watching the show if they get together, there are plenty of people out there that actually enjoy Stefan and Caroline. And
I do too. Caroline's been growing on me the last few seasons. I used to hate her.
They have some moments that I absolutely love, but there's just something about them that does not seem like it's a happily ever after kind of couple.
It's not. And, I mean, Caroline seems more human to me now than she ever did when she was human.
Yeah. I hated her so much in season 1.
Yeah. She was such a twat.
It wasn't until like halfway through season 2 when I realized, you know what, I'm starting to actually like Caroline, and then
there's some
even
depth
more
to
recently,
the character.
Yeah.
At that point,
she grew quite a lot, so I'm actually really starting to appreciate that. But as far as all of Elena's goodbyes, which one was your guys' favorite?
The one that actually got me to shed some tears was when it was Caroline, Bonnie, and Elena having their sleepover.
That one was great. I didn't have like any emotional like choke up moments or whatever, but when I saw Elena pull out the feathers, I was like, yes, because I remember
that's the part that got me to a little bit.
Oh, really?
Like, fuck. I get all pissed off.
You're like, I actually feel something for Elena. I think it was more of you feeling something for Bonnie losing Elena.
It was more Bonnie than anything.
Yeah,
right. And what got me was the way that Caroline said, I'm the one who gets to see her again. You got to get the better goodbye. I was like, oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Like, that's what started me on that scene.
She was being real. That's assuming Caroline doesn't get a stake to the heart,
Yeah.
Or any other way to kill. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I swear that before Elena wakes... See, it'll never happen. I'm like, Klaus will be dead before Elena wakes up. But that'll never happen. Sorry, they'll never kill off Klaus.
I mean, they could. There's way around. They almost killed him off in, what was it, season 4? By transferring him to another body, keeping the body intact, and then killing him off would have would have sufficed. Klaus would have been dead for all intents and purposes. The body still remaining alive would have kept the bloodline alive. So there's ways to do it if they really wanted to. So, but for me, I think it's a tie between the Alaric and Elena one, because just like Elena consoling Alaric it was great. And it's just like, you've been through so much, but you have to just let it in, just absorb, take it all now, because there's no other way to deal with it than to take it all in. And then you will get stronger and whatever off of it. And I was just like, Elena, that's actually some really good advice. It's not selfish for once.
Yeah, let it all in.
For once.
So I was actually really shocked. That one was probably, the most touching one to me, but the one that was so unexpected was Jeremy. And I just like that because Jeremy. I wasn't expecting him this episode.
Yeah. I was kind of like, I know that he had said, they had said, oh, Jeremy will be around for major events and occasions. I'm like, his sister? Well, the actress leaving, but his sister being gone from the show is not a major event.
Yeah. He's like, sorry I couldn't make the wedding. And Larry's like, yeah, be glad you didn't.
As soon as Jeremy showed up, I was like, thank you. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I was hoping for it, and I got it.
I mean, the Jeremy one was just fun. I like that. I'm a little upset that Jeremy didn't confess what he's up to Elena, because he's never going to get the chance to do that again. I'm pretty sure she would have liked to hear something about it. Then,
if she were reading into what he told her, then she realized that he's not doing something that is called art. He is actually hunting. Because that's what he was alluding to when he was telling her, I'm doing something that I feel like I was meant to do.
Right.
But I'm sure she just thought art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when she wakes up, she'll hopefully get a clue on that.
We'll see.
The Stefan one was very Elena-ish, very self-centered. Oh, this is where I first told you I didn't want to be a vampire, and we went on this hike together, and it's all about me, 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 me. And so I didn't really resonate with that one very well.
No.
And the Matt one was the same thing. Oh, rest in peace, Elena Gilbert. Come on, say it. Elena, this is morning me, 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 me. And then it was like, yeah, and I could see you fighting for all the people that I care about. Because that's what you were meant to do, is protect all the people that I love. And it's just like, I felt that it's just Elena working herself into...
Me.
Yeah. So I didn't really I love the look on Nikki's face as I was describing that. If you guys didn't catch it, please rewind just like 30 seconds and watch as I describe the horrificness on her face as it gets worse and worse. But all the other ones I thought were great.
I didn't like Damon's. I thought the dance was so incredibly cheesy and lame, and I'm like, that is not romantic, that is ugly, and it's stupid, and her face, I want to smack it.
The thing with Damon is, I think the only thing that made it for me was the start of the dance. Because the start of the dance was the first time that they ever danced together in, what was it, the Mystic Falls, Miss Mystic Falls pageant or whatever it was, that Stefan ditched her for at the time. I don't remember why he wasn't there. And Damon had to fill in, and they did the dance, and they weren't allowed to touch, and, their hands were like this far apart, and like they were spinning in a circle. That's how it started off, but in this reality, Damon's like, fuck that, I'm holding you, But I think if they kept it true to what the original dance was, then it would have meant a little bit more.
It would have, yeah.
Probably.
But still, because it was reminiscent of it, I resonated with it a little bit. And Damon being like, hey, look, I can't live without you, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let myself desiccate so time will move faster, and then you could wake me up when you're back. And I was like, that sounds really boring.
That does sound really boring.
You were holding up your hand like going, teacher, 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 teacher. What do you want to say?
I was?
You were. You're going,
I wasn't paying attention. Sorry. I wasn't paying attention to the actions of my hands.
They just do their own thing.
They have a mind of their own.
I'm hoping we don't get anything that boring out of Damon.
We're not.
And it looks like we're not going to.
We are not. In like we were told, we're going to get a glimpse into the future this episode, and we saw what looked like it could have been maybe about a year later.
Yeah, 6 months to a year. I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't look like a super significant amount of time
It
has
looked like an
passed.
entire progression of seasons went by around the Salvatore crypt.
That's what it looked like to me, except there was no snow. So
There
I'm,
was
I'm
No,
not,
there was some. They didn't show snow covering everything, but there was
Right.
like you could see snow falling in one of the frames or whatever. And if you
yeah,
like,
because it was enough for the flowers to completely like dry up and rot. So I was like, it's definitely more than a few weeks.
we'll say 6 months.
Yeah.
Go with 6 months.
So we see that we see Matt in a patrol car. And I'm like, okay, so he made the police force. Then it's kind of like panning out, and Mystic Falls is in shambles.
And there's
The
hobos.
town center is destroyed. There's tarps over like every single one of the buildings, and I'm just like, so this is what Mystic Falls is like without Helena.
Did Matt look like he was, like just another night on the town, or did he look actually terrified?
I couldn't.
You really couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I was looking at his face to see how much time had progressed.
Right.
I was looking at wrinkles, or I was looking at hair to see if the coloration had changed, things like that, because we weren't exactly sure how many days, years, weeks, whatever. We didn't know how long time was.
Long enough for
His
Matt
job.
to become a cop.
Yes, that's it. There was no face, like he still looked like Matt. He didn't look any older.
Because
So-
something I read said, I was reading a quick review, and it's like, in the last scene we see Matt driving a patrol car, looking terrified, and I'm just like, but
I didn't see
I
any.
didn't see terror,
No, I didn't see.
but then again, I didn't notice.
Kind of like.
Yeah.
Like Fred Durst. Just keep rolling, Matt.
Rolling. Yes.
And then we
He did look
get
terrified to me.
Damon.
Maybe a little concerned, but not terrified.
Yeah, so I'm just like, okay, what the hell's going on? When I was talking to Nikki earlier today, she's under the impression that the town went to shit because of the heretics, who, they are still lurking around. We saw Lily get reunited with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it with them. So, but Damon was just like standing up there over the clock tower, which is where he was standing with Elena this season, and he's just like looking over, and he has this look like, I'm going to fuck some bitches up. And the only person that's in the vicinity is Matt. So I'm like,
But here's my question:
what the hell is going on?
Is Damon responsible for that? Any of that shit, or is Damon just up there looking around like, what the fuck happened?
It's kind of a 50-50 shot at this point, and from all the interviews and stuff that I've read, Julie Plec said, with Elena being written out of the story gives the writers a lot of freedom, now a lot of creativity and freedom to go in directions that they didn't have the opportunity to go with her on the show,
Right.
which they are very happy to announce that we will be getting back to a season 1 style Damon. And Ian has also been going around in interviews saying that he is really excited to get back to that dark character.
The thing is, they still have their limitations because, Damon wants to be with Elena. He knows eventually she's going to wake up. If he goes, you're saying Matt's in the vicinity. If he takes out Matt, and when she wakes up, she finds out that he killed Matt, she's going to be pissed.
If she finds out.
That too.
She's going to find out.
How?
So
if Damon kills off Matt, kills off Stefan, kills off
Caroline,
Caroline,
everybody who would tell her.
Nobody, there's no one left to talk.
Then she'll be raising her eyebrow, being like,
My whole thing is, I'm under the impression that Damon is just so distraught over losing Elena that he ends up shutting his emotions off.
That's possible.
he can
And
be
if that is what he did, he's not going to care about the consequences. As we saw this season with Caroline. Did not care about the consequences of any of her actions.
Right. And the thing I read today was that with Elena gone, that apparently next season Bonnie is going to become Damon's moral compass.
Yes, because they're best friends. They really are. It's a genuine thing.
They are best friends.
So I'm wondering how that's gonna go, because her
It was
since
she was his moral compass for a lot of this season as well.
She was.
true, very true. So
Even when they weren't best friends.
Yeah.
even
So this, so opening the doors for Elena leaving, and the show going on, is Elena's probably not going to be the only actor that leaves the show from the main cast. There's actually an interview with Paul Wesley,
Yeah.
who he said, "I think everything has to come to an end, man. First of all, I'm playing a 17-year-old. I'm 32 years old." He said, so theoretically, if I were to stay on the show for, say, 3 more years, I would be a 35-year-old playing a 17-year-old, which is almost double. It's more than double. It's literally more than double. So he's already starting to question playing this character for...
He did even mention when he was talking to Elena and her stupid fucking little dream there that she said, hopefully I'll see you again. He's like, I doubt it. Like, I don't think I'll be there.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Next season, it says where Entertainment Weekly says season 7 will focus on Wesley's character Stefan and Ian Somerhalder's character Damon. It seems the writers may have told Wesley's on-screen brother a little bit more about season 7. The story is just going to change form, and I think we can get back to this really awesome, dark, edgy, volatile, all the shit that we love, Ian Somerhalder said. And then it said the dark storyline will force the boys to come together to fight their own mother, Lily. Her family of heretics are going to cause trouble for the Salvatore brothers. We're teeing up for the big crisis of season 7, which is Salvatore's family versus Lily Salvatore's heretic family. And they're going to be the main conflict of season 7 once they launch into it.
Well, that was
sounds
our theory.
like another episode that's gonna episode season that's gonna drag because they have one big bad in the Travelers, and look how that turned out.
Well, that's the thing, is there's not one big bad. It's Lily in the first form front, but we also have the heretics. And from what I also heard a lot about the format for what they want to do about the heretics, is there's... How many of them there? There's
6.
6 of them. And they said that there's whole lush backstories coming in for them. Think of them almost like the original family, right? These are heretics, a new group of people. We're going to get backgrounds. They're all going to have their own traits and stuff. We're probably going to be dealing with a lot of them this episode. And if they're anything like Kai, I'm really excited. So think of Kai mixed with the Michelsons, and you already have me sold.
I wish Kai and Klaus would have met at least once. It would have been amazing.
It would have been. It would have been a sass-off.
That
That would have been it.
Great.
There would have been no magic flying, no crazy vampire powers, none of that. It would have just been the two of them, open mic night, just sassing each other.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where one of them gave up and walked off stage.
With a bowl of mom's spaghetti.
What a bowl of mom's spaghetti.
Vomit on his sweater already.
And on that note...
What? No.
But for those of you that are interested in seeing some more work from Chris Wood, Julie Plec, who produces Vampire Diaries, she is producing a show next year called Containment, which will also feature Chris Wood and Claudia Black, who played Dahlia on this season of the originals. So the two of them will be in this mysterious, deadly epidemic that breaks out in Atlanta. A vast urban quarantine is quickly enforced, forcing those stuck on the inside to fight for their lives. So the preview that was put out looks phenomenal. I'm very interested. I'm going to be watching mainly for Chris Wood. However, he's going to be playing a cop. He's going to be playing a good guy. So it's going to be interesting to see his range of performance and to see. I already see Nikki's not too thrilled about that.
No, I'm actually contemplating. I'm just kind of thinking of how that'll be.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems like a whole zombie type story without the zombies. So.
Well, I mean, if anybody's watched Helix, I'm getting that kind of vibe from it because it is CDC Atlanta, kind of that kind of deal. But
Right.
It doesn't seem like it's that crazy where people are mutating into crazy zombie-like things. It just seems like it's a really bad cult.
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect out of it. It looks good.
It looks good.
If our schedule permits it, we may end up covering it, but I don't want to make any promises. Our plates are already pretty full as it is, but we've been known to squeeze shows in.
Yeah.
So
We've been known to just, not live a life and just do these shows.
Oh, God. And now that it's almost over for the season, I just see the light, and I'm like,
freedom is
walking
here.
towards you, freedom, come to me.
And it'll take you like 6 months to get there, and by that time, the shows will all be back. Yay!
Oh.
It's more like 4 months, but yeah. So we basically have to wait 4 months now for Vampire Diaries. And I'm just going to say right now, it is going to be a long 4 months.
And I'm gonna say, and if the season does flop like season 5 did, I'm gonna be like, shit, it wasn't long enough.
I don't think it is. I have high hopes for this. I'm really interested to see the heretics. I really want to see them all fleshed out. And the fact that we never even saw any of them other than like glimpses of shadows like covering their faces just really leaves it open for them to really fill out anybody to fill in some of these roles. I'm sure we're going to get some casting information soon.
Yeah.
And really going to flesh out a lot of these characters, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yep. So, what we're left with is we know that Elena's coffin is spelled shut. Will not be opened under any circumstances until until Bonnie's dead, basically, I think is how Damon worded it. So no one's going to be coming looking for the cure or anything like that. The cure is officially gone after that, so whatever's in Elena, that's the extent of it. There's no more prison worlds, which prison worlds copied over everything in existence. There were, unless Kai came back, because we know he got the cure, the blood, to cast the spell to be able to get out. So unless he came over with the cure, there's no more cures. So there's potentially one more floating around somewhere. So, don't know. It will be interesting. But in the meantime, if you guys would like to follow us below, in the description there is a link for new Facebook group that we have started for the Vampire Diaries and Originals universe. You guys can discuss in there what you're expecting from the next season and stuff during the break. So make sure to check that out. And I think that about wraps things up. You guys have anything else you'd like to throw in?
Not just like discuss what's coming up or anything. Ask us questions too. We will respond and just use it to your advantage. We're giving you a lot of advantage here to express your feelings about the show and to us and how you think we should possibly maybe discuss little tidbit of things sometimes. Sometimes we miss things. I'm very sorry, but there's a lot of time for this kind of stuff.
Yarp.
Invite all your friends, family, neighbors, relatives,
and enemies,
animals. There's so many animals on Facebook. There's more animals, I think, than people. I went through my friends list the other day, and it's just all pictures of animals. So I don't even think there's actually humans behind them anymore.
I actually followed a turtle named Stan once.
I like turtles. Nikki, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24. I'm
following
low tonight.
Following Stan the Turtle. Mike, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Thilladren, THILLADREN. Thank you, Dom.
You're welcome. You could also find me on Twitter at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. You could also find us on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Till next year, next season, it's technically this year.
Yeah.
Technically.
Till next season.
Oh,
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
I'm so glad that they didn't go with the Elena Angel storyline.
I am
There's still room
too.
for it.
Don't say that.
There's still room for it.
Don't say that.
I just said it twice.
Don't say it 3 times.
There's still room for it. 3 strikes, you're out. Doesn't count anymore. Right?
3rd time's a charm.
Oh. Double negative there.
There's no negatives there.
Yeah, there is.
No, there's not.